Welcome to FRESHH Radio, where I bring you family revolution, edutainment, spirituality, health, and hip-hop all in one show. I am your host, the young man, Nuke, in UK, no E. And today I have an interview with my man, Mr. William Turner. You might remember him from a few years ago. He came through and he dropped a suspense book on us, and he's actually coming today to present the sequel to that book, which is actually called Death Comes for the President. And I can't wait for him to explain this one. Mr. Turner, you there?
I'm here, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing quite well. The weather in California is quite nice.
I heard that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, tell us a little bit about this sequel that you have here right now.
Well, sir, my books are serials, and I introduced Sir Robert Winchell, who's the detective, based on Sherlock Holmes and Hercule Poirot. And he's reoccurring in each of my mysteries. And he's an African-American who had done work for the Queen of England. And it was a very, very delicate matter. And as a result, and to show appreciation, she knighted him, hence Sir Robert Winchell.
Okay. Awesome. And that is the main protagonist of your series.
Yes, sir, he is.
All right, awesome. Now tell us a little bit more about this particular series that we have going on. This is the second book that we have in this particular set, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what can you tell us a little bit more about this Death Comes for the President?
I have these two individuals. One had graduated Harvard, and his affluent family from Texas decided to. They were so proud of him, they decided to give him a trip to South America. He goes there, and he falls in love with this stunningly beautiful woman. He wants to marry her. She wants to marry him. But she made it clear that she could not have children, but that she would be amenable for a surrogate. It hardly mattered to him, as he was madly in love. They married and had a couple of kids, and they came back to Texas. And he had local political aspirations. He won. He had aspirations for state political aspirations. He ran and he won. His sights stretched further to the White House. He became the president and carried his wife with him. While on an economic summit about the trade agreement with the United States and the inequity, he alienated quite a few leaders. So when he came back to the United States on the tarmac, his entourage tried to wake him, but they couldn't. And the reason for that, he had died. And they called in the attending physician, White House physician, and he says, yes, he is dead. So quite naturally, an autopsy was done, and they found out that he had been poisoned. The United States government wanted to retaliate, but they didn't know against whom to direct retaliation. So they bring in Sir Robert, who was tasked with retracing the president's trips that he had made. And Robert went to China, where he had angered the officials there, and then they end up in Turkey, and Sir Robert angered them. So they were at a loss to whom they could address their anger. And what Robert uncovered shocked not only the United States, but the world.
And that right there brings us to the death comes for the president, correct?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Now, I remember, it's been a while, so please bear with me. I do remember very vaguely about the murderer in our midst. Now, is this a direct sequential sequel, or has some time passed since the last novel?
Well, there was a time lapse because it's not to slap myself on the back. I am a very meticulous novelist. I want my characters to be believable, that they can be identified with. I would like the settings to be accurate, and these things involve research. And with death comes for the president, I have no clue how to dress women, and I think there aren't any men who would know how to dress women. And so I enlisted the services of Saks Fifth Avenue in New York, and it was a very accommodating lady there. And oddly enough, and most surprisingly, she had read A Murder in Our Midst, and she helped me to dress the First Lady. And I was absolutely floored when Ivana Trump wore the same dress that was described in my book, that was recommended by the lady in New York, with the attire, the matching accessories, and all of this. And Sir Robert had gone to Washington, D.C. Well, he was in Washington, D.C., and at the famed Willard Hotel there. And I got in touch with the manager, who gave me a detailed description of the Willard. Fortunate for me, she had been a resident of California. And she sent me all types of literature and all of this, because the American people, sir, are well-traveled. And if you describe a place, they can say, yes, I know exactly, and he hit it on the head. And so that is what I strive for. And the plot, is it feasible? Can I see this? Can I envision this? And they can. But for example, with A Murder in Our Midst, this affluent family had close ties to their position, unaware that the position had a malignant heart. And he was the one who had set everything into motion. There were the death of Raymond Babant, and there were 5 other murders, all committed by different culprits, but with the common motive. And the readers thoroughly enjoyed that, because you can repose faith and confidence and disclose too much information that could prove to be detrimental.
Right. No, I understand that. Yes, sir. So the pacing is basically right on point from one point to the next. Now, in terms of what we have here with the new book, Death Comes for the President, is this something that you had in mind from when you were writing A Murderer in Our Midst, the title of this book, or was it something that came about after the
in
creation of the rap?
between, there were those who had challenged me to write a romance. And I attempted it. And I readily admit I have never had a riveting romance. And my readers would have known I didn't know what in the hell I was talking about. So I took a different approach with it. Now, sir, maybe you've had one that caused the heart to flutter, the eyes to roll back, and all of this. I haven't had that. I was married. It was good, but it wasn't something that I could describe that my I possibly could. But the thing is this, is that there will be gloving that will make the readers want to know why William Turner's wife died. I said, yeah, she died of cancer. But what did she leave? She left me memories. Right. She left me some good ones, and she left me a son. And they said, oh, well, what's unusual about that? So I tried to elevate that to the level where they could see the intrigue. All too often, people think that crime is committed by people of low income, middle income. Mine focus on the upper crust, those who are wealthy, those who will go to the extreme to protect that wealth. And I wanted them to see that so that they can say, well, you know what, we're not the only ones committing crime. Here these people are too. And I can identify with the reasoning behind it without making judgment calls. And when you write, you don't try to be didactic, teaching the American people to, well, any reader, how they should act, how they should respond. That is a personal reaction on the individual. For example, universally, you can say most people would agree that if a person walks up and slaps them, you're not going to say, oh, I like that. I was asleep. I needed to wake up. And then they turn around and they slap you back. And then, you know, why did you slap me? They're not going to ask you first, why did you slap me? They're going to react. And people can identify with that. And so I go for credibility. And oddly enough, I should share this. I would like to share this. Is that it was a reader in New York who had purchased the book, Death Comes for the President. That reader thoroughly enjoyed it, and he was reading it on his way to work. When he arrived at work, he went immediately to his boss, told him what a wonderful book it was, and that was an accolade for me. But, and humbling, is that he shared it with his boss, and his boss read it and agreed. And immediately they got in touch with Hollywood. And it is both in development to be adapted for TV. So that is an accomplishment. You know, it's quite, you know, people will say, those would love to be in my position. But it is a most humbling position. You achieved credibility. People like the description of the individuals, the scenery, the setting. We can identify with that. And when you reach that level that affects a person to the point that of all others, we want to make this into a movie. It's humbling because I'm an extremely private person. I don't want to be recognized. I want to be able to go to Walmart, Macy's, and J.C. Penney's without being recognized. It was just like when I would go to the local store and they get some items, and they see me like every day. And then when I come in on Sunday after church, they say, God, you really do clean up well. So it's like it's like you want to be yourself, and that is what I'm after. My next door neighbor both know that I'm a mystery writer. They are familiar with the books. They've read the books and all of this, but that's the extent of it. You don't have the people running up and down the streets, breaking in your house. Oh, well, he wrote books. He must have money and all of this. No, it's not that.
Right.
And that is where the privacy comes in. I love it.
I understand that. It's you know, I'm a recording artist myself. You know, I've struggled with this quote unquote fame aspect. You know, it's cool when people respect what I do. Like I really take pride in my craft, you know, and creating this music. And I don't want it to be a get rich quick scheme. I want it to be a legacy thing. 100 years from now, people are still playing and listening to my music. So with that being the case, it's not. I want to go to the store. I want to do my own shopping. I want to I want to be able to go to the movie theaters with my children and not have people, hey man, you that guy that has that YouTube video or that radio show or that song on the radio. Like I mean that like it. I like having that privacy. So no, I truly understand where you're coming from with that, because it's nothing like just being able to be yourself and not only be yourself, but be appreciated for being yourself too. So, you know, I definitely understand that side. Now, with this being the case, this is the second book in this series. Are you planning any more books coming up after this one?
As a matter of fact, I'm in the process of completing The Corpses Beneath the Tree. And a slight synopsis is that a constable was cycling, and he saw these two men on a hill, an embankment, and it seemed as though they were picnicking. And he waved, he spoke, and nothing was returned. And as he pedaled on, his curiosity got the better of him. And he went up the embankment, and saw that they had been set as though they were picnicking. And when he walked up and started greeting them, there was no response. And then he found out that they had been murdered. And he went cycling to Scotland Yard, and they went there, they investigated and all of this. And they had been poisoned. And they didn't know who had done it, quite naturally. And the inspector was curious but baffled. In walks Sir Robert on vacation, and Detective Dennis. They didn't want to be bothered, but the intrigue of it, when they told him that the guy had been poisoned, have you identified the poison? Yes, we have. It's rat poison. Oh, there it is. Find out who purchased the rat poison, and there's your murderer. And Winslow said came to realize it wasn't that easy, because the village all had gardens, and all of them used rat poison. And that sets him off to investigate who came in contact with these individuals, what did they have to lose, and all of this. And it was fun doing that.
That's awesome. You know, one thing I've noticed just by our little time that we've had on the phone with these last couple interviews is that, you know, Sir Richard, he goes and he gets into some things that one Sir Robert he gets into the things that they're not connected in no way, but they're extremely extraordinarily what's the word I'm looking for? They're complex in their own way, and it brings it to the uniqueness of the situation. Like he goes from the president to the rat poison. You know, like that's crazy. I like that. That's real good. And I like the way that you're able to put into these different scenarios. You said you just finished that book. Any plans on or tentative release dates?
I would say within a month, maybe two. But
okay.
I think it's egotistic. Well, as a matter of fact, I do know that it was egotistically premised. Is that Sir Robert has many of my traits. College educated, but everything that I have accomplished was worked for. Nothing came easily. And therefore, at the end of it, you appreciate it more. Sir Robert had graduated Harvard. He became a Los Angeles police officer. He was passed over for what he thought were well-deserved promotions. Frustrated, he resigns and goes to England. And although his letters were cheerful to Raymond, Raymond knew him. They were like brothers. I think you and I talked about this, the camaraderie between men. But at any rate, he knew something was wrong. And using their international influence, they secured him a job with Scotland Yard. And that was the impetus, all of the impetus that he needed. And he became world known. And so at any rate, it's like whatever is worth pursuing, all of the efforts, the ups, the downs, and all of this, you appreciate those at the end of the journey. And it has he's garnered respect, admiration for this. It's not going like Sherlock Holmes. I love the character, but he comes across as having this monumental intellect and all of this. But with Winchell, he's not slow, but he's methodical, and I like that.
Right. That's awesome. That's that.
It's not contrived. A lot of people, you know, I would like to say that the media has betrayed a cutthroat depiction of the races. And it's not so, because there are viable friendships between Caucasians and blacks. They can talk about any and everything without gunfire and threats and all of this. And that was one of the reviews that I received for A Murder in Our Midst. And it was like I had hit it, but didn't know that I had done that. And it was based in part on a friend that I have here in California, a well-respected civil attorney. And I'll never forget, I had applied for a job at Disney. And he says, "Oh, Billy, that would be perfect because you would fit right in." And I thought about it. I said, "Are you insulting me?" And then I started laughing. I said, "Well, you probably think I am goofy, don't you?" And he started laughing. But that is the camaraderie and that we have developed. And he had attended Harvard and was disappointed because he wanted to go to Yale. I said, "What's the difference?" I said, you graduated summa cum laude. He says, yes, but it would have looked better had I gone to Yale. I said, my God. And so at any rate, is that it was like I can see the difference, the economic, the social distinction, but there's a friendship that was forged between the two of us. And I brought that to my writing.
And you know what I noticed, sir? Being an artist myself, when we create these characters, when we create these stories, of course we're going to put a lot of ourselves into them.
Right.
And that right there is what makes them authentic. So, you know,
right.
that shows, not that it shows, it helps breed that relatability. So that, you know, a person can gravitate toward that person and actually feel for this person that they don't know. It's awesome that, you know, us as creators, we're able to breathe life into something that was lifeless beforehand. So yeah,
right.
and I like that. Yes, sir. Now, man, this is always an awesome interview, sir. We're closing out here. Is there anything else you want to touch on in these last 5 minutes or so?
I would like to address the aspiring novelist. Is that plot your story. Once you've written it, have it edited. When you submit it to a potential publisher, if you don't hear something within 2 or 3 weeks or a month, don't be beguiled into thinking that you've gotten someone's attention. Publishing is highly subjective. It depends solely on the editor's mood on that given day when they check your manuscript. Did they have a problem with their husband, their wife? Did they have problems with their children? Are they getting along well with their superiors and all of this? It all depends on the mood. And a rejection letter, as a matter of fact, all of them are beginning to sound alike because they are alike. Thank you for your submission. Good luck in your endeavor. I want the readers your audience to realize, don't be discouraged. Keep plodding along, knocking on doors, and one will eventually open. And you will be surprised, like I was, with that reader in New York who went to his boss, and they got in touch with Hollywood. That came as a complete shock because when they got in touch with me, it was on my voicemail. Then they sent an email, and then they called me. And then after I'd gotten over the excitement, I said, how in God's name did they contact me? Because my personal information is not out there. So at any rate, they went that extra distance to get in touch with me. And I want them not to be frustrated, but to continue and be open to criticism. Is that it was one lady that I had, I was commuting with. She says, I couldn't identify with your book. I said, well, I didn't know you when I was writing it. And so at any rate, it was that some people will tear you down for the sake of tearing you down. But use that criticism to perfect your craft. They just recently aired something about America Got Talent. And one of the panelists told the guy, said, your voice is scratched or whatever, come back. The guy took umbrage and asked the audience, what do they think? Do they think he was fair? But at any rate, he on his third try, he received a standing ovation. So sometimes you have to listen. That is really fascinating. I like that.
Right, that's awesome, and I appreciate you sharing that with the audience. I'm pretty sure they're gonna pick up some jewels off of that one, and I do hope that you come through when you release that third book, because I want to hear more about that, and we can definitely talk a little bit more about our social commentary. Man, I love our social commentary that we have, sir. Yeah, as always, Mr. Turner was awesome. And to all my listeners out there, definitely go find a copy of Death Comes for the President by Mr. William Turner. Sir, where can they get a copy of this book at?
The book is available on Amazon.com, Barnes and Noble, and all other book outlets. I'm being carried on the website of Walmart. They have a link for you to get the book. So it's out there.
Awesome, sir. And, man, Mr. Turner, I truly appreciate your time, sir. And I definitely look forward to hearing back from you in a little while.
And thank you, sir, for taking the time to interview me. I enjoyed the interview.
Awesome. Thank you so much, sir. And everybody out there listening to Fresh Radio, man, I got another show coming up this Friday as usual. So, yeah, stay tuned for that, man. And you guys all have a nice day. Be smooth.